From Newcastle, we head north on the A1 in a light drizzle. Leaving the main road, we pass through the Northumberland Coast National Landscape, walk through the dunes to the sea, and ride past Bamburgh Castle. Further west, we reach Cornhill-on-Tweed, cross into Scotland, and travel through the southern uplands until Edinburgh appears ahead. We start the day with a short tour through historic Edinburgh, then cross the Queen's Ferry crossing heading north on the M90. Passing Perth, we take smaller roads through Blairgowrie into the Grampian Mountains. Skirting the eastern edge of the Cairngorms National Park along the Old Military Road. Turning west, we cross the A9 and follow scenic backroads past Corrievery, Farhouse and Tullidge, winding along tranquil lochs. At Loch Ness, we pause in search of its legendary monster before following the shoreline north to Inverness. Leaving Inverness over the Keswick Bridge, we head north on the A9, pausing in Invergordon to view the towering oil rigs in the Cromarty Firth. Crossing the Dornoch Firth, we take a hidden, steep road into Glenlote, winding through remote hills to Kildonan. From Kinbrace, the route turns west along the quiet B871, past the shimmering waters of Loch Ness and Loch Loyal, before reaching Tongue. Following the rugged north coast via Sarsgrum and Gwaline House, we turn at Ryconich and trace the shoreline of Loch Inchard, arriving in the fishing village of Kinlochbervie. From Kinlochbervie, we head south over the Lax Ford Bridge, taking a scenic loop around Loch Narmbrak through Foindle, Fannigmore and Tarbet. Back on the A894, the road follows the rugged coastline to the iconic Kilesku Bridge. From Unipool, we take the winding B869 along the shore through Strathan and Inverkirkade, before joining the A835 at Drumready. Passing Ullapool, we follow Loch Broom to the dam at Loch Glascarnoch. From Loch Glascarnoch, we head south and turn onto the A832 before Garve, passing Loch Lochalsh and Aghnashan to reach Kinlochbervie. Here, we follow the A896 along Upper Loch Torridon to Allet, then leave the main road to trace the rugged coastline past Invervane and up to Fernmore. Turning south via Calnakill, we enjoy our first views of the Isle of Skye before crossing the spectacular Applecross Pass. The road winds down to Tornapress, where we rejoin the A896, then continue on the A890 to Auchtertyre. From here, the A87 carries us over the Skye Bridge and along the coast to Portree. We set off from Portree, following the northern coastline of Skye. Crossing the island via the scenic Quirang Road, we reach the west coast near Idrigil. Continuing south, we skirt the shores of Loch Ness and take the A850 to Dunvegan. Our journey turns unfortunate as mechanical trouble strikes, and we just managed to reach Kyle of Lochalsh. After a day of phone calls and coordination with several towing services, we finally reach Perth. Thanks to the Drysdale Motorcycles Workshop's great commitment, the motorcycle is repaired the next morning, allowing us to catch our pre-booked ferry from Newcastle to Amsterdam in the evening.